Peace and welcome to POP. That's Picking Off Punches. It's your boy Serge Chacon. I'm my man Derek Jusha. What's happening, folks? Super excited about today's guest.
Who we got?
Who we got? Irish Micky Ward. Do you remember the first time you saw him fight?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. The first time I saw him fight, I was just chilling in the crib with my friend Paulie, who was living off me at the time. He was an annoying house guest. He was one of those guests.
Comedian?
No.
Okay.
No. He was a server. He drove a truck without a CDL license. He was society's vomit.
Dirtbag shit.
Yeah.
The
He was
society's vomit?
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I heard that phrase, it was in regards to the Taliban. He didn't even contribute that much to any cause.
Right.
He would lay down on my
because the
ottoman.
Taliban, at least they inspired us, right?
Right. Taliban, Islamic students. That's what I read the Taliban book, but that's a whole other story. So during it was early 2000. I walk into my apartment. I see my friend Paulie in his boxers, scratching his balls, laying on my ottoman, rolling a blunt. And I'm like, this fucking guy, yo, you got 6 hours. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But we had some good times together. And this one time, we're casually just playing cards or something. The TV was on, and it was a fight that I'll never forget on HBO with Arturo Gatti and Micky Ward. And it was reminiscent to when I was a child watching my father put two cocks fighting each other. Like, it was brutality, man. I mean, they were just going at it. It was back and forth action. They were like evenly matched up. They both had heart of steel, so much courage. It was blood and guts. And it was just beautiful to watch. I'd never seen anything quite like it. So that was my first memory of Micky Ward. And since then, I became such a huge fan. I did the research on him. He's fought everybody. The Drunken Master, Emmanuel Augustus. He fought
Zab Judah. He fought Vince Phillips. And he fought everybody. He fought everybody.
Had a mean touch to the head, hook to the body.
And he hurt Zab.
He did hurt.
He hurt Zab bad. I remember I was watching him fight there was another upstart. His name was Alfonso Sanchez. People were like, thinking he was going to be the champion. And he was whooping Mickey for about 6-7 rounds.
Comeback kid.
Mickey one liver shot, folded him up like a lawn chair. I said, damn. Yeah. Damn, there's something about this guy. He was special. You could tell he's special, but Mickey was a journeyman. And what often happens with journeyman, I'll explain that to people, is that after you get a few losses in your career, you fall out of the contender status. What happens is you got to take the fights when you can get them. And a lot of times you may not even be in training, or you may just got done with another fight. You take the fights on short notice. You're fighting bigger guys. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Mickey in his career.
And there's journeyman in every form of entertainment. I'm a journeyman in comedy. You asked me to do a comedy show in the middle of the Bronx. If it pays over $100, I'll be there, performing right by a kitchen.
with music playing at the same time.
With music playing. And and the Yankee game.
Yep.
Full volume.
Yep, full volume.
Yeah, and I'm doing jokes that are over 12 years old.
Glasses clanking. Cling, 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 cling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
selling my DVD. Yeah, so he was, he was considered a journeyman, and then after he had a trilogy.
Well, he beat Gatti the night you were talking about with your friend Paulie. He beat Arturo Gatti,
right?
And he beat Arturo Gatti on HBO.
Last two,
he lost the last two, but that fight changed his life
game,
because he ended up making, I believe, $1 million a piece for the next two fights, and that set him up lovely.
I mean, as a blue collar worker. He was
an asphalt guy,
right.
blacktop. He used to do blacktop. He actually injured himself part of his career. He fell onto a blacktop, a tamper.
Jesus, I broke my back.
Yeah,
I broke my back.
That's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I broke my back.
How'd you break it? Where'd you break it? I don't know. Spinal. But I believe I may be wrong. I believe that the tamper tore through Mickey's buttocks.
Jesus.
And I believe he lost maybe a year of his career. And another time in his career, the cops broke his hand.
Right. He was involved in some shit.
His brother Dickie Eklund fought Sugar Ray Leonard, but was also he was an addict. But Dickie taught him how to fight. Dickie taught him how to fight. I believe Mickey was a little more naturally gifted. And he had a promising career to start with.
And he has one of the
couple losses.
Yeah, I mean, his losses, though, I mean...
Well, he has a lot of losses, but his couple in the beginning kind of derailed the career, you know what I mean? And then he just had to fight whoever he could fight to make some bread. But equalizer. One of the best left hooks to the liver I've ever seen.
Yeah, and who
throws it like a Mexican.
Yes. Touch to the head, go to the body. And he beat Shane Neary, right?
Shane Neary, yeah. You know what? A lot of people, Vince Phillips beat Costa-Zoo, who Vince Phillips was also a journeyman, beat Costa-Zoo, and then Vince's first defense was against Micky Ward. Mickey was fighting him as tough he could, but he lost on a cut, third round, very bad cut. And then I believe Mickey traveled over to England to fight Shane Neary, who was
a huge underdog.
And Neary was undefeated in his backyard, busted his ass.
Yeah.
I don't think the kid ever fought again.
Yeah. I mean, that was monumental for Micky Ward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got a movie on him, which is obvious. Honestly, that's my favorite boxing movie ever.
Really?
Yeah, The Fighter. You know what I like? Because I like the dynamics between the family members. The 7 sisters.
I love that.
They're grimy.
They were grimy. They were ratchet.
Fight. Yeah.
They were ratchet. They went there.
I know girls like that from where I grew up, from the BX. I grew up in the Lower East Side, but
my mom's from the BX. She's just like that. She's just like that.
Just a bunch of sisters.
Yeah, the mother and the sister roll up to beat the shit out of their son's girlfriend.
Why you think you're some sort of MTV girl?
Yeah, yeah.
What does that even mean?
Fuck you stupid bitch.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
Yeah, man.
That's how my mother was in the streets. She's changed now. She's more reserved, but my mother was just like those people.
Your mother got down like that? Vaseline on her face? Hair in a ponytail?
All talking wild shit.
Barefoot?
Barefoot, yeah, barefoot. Back in, they got those little slippers nowadays. My mom used to just go out there straight chancletas.
Ooh.
Yeah, and she would say things. If someone gave her a dirty look, she'd go, what do you look? Look at this bitch.
Wow.
Look at this bitch over here. I was like, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, so, Mickey had a family that was, quite dysfunctional, man.
Blue collar.
Yeah, and throughout all that, man, he did his thing.
I wonder if the movie is accurate.
Yeah, we got to ask him. Because, you know what I like about the movie? That they
You're a big Mark Wahlberg fan. Well, I'll tell you, Mark Wahlberg also a big fan of his. When he was in Juvenile when he was young, he punched a store owner in the head, knocked his eye out of the socket.
Nice, nice, very nice.
So, but this is a story of redemption also from Mark Wahlberg, right? Bad kid from Boston, right? Went to juvie, turned his life around, became an actor, playing Micky Ward in a movie. You know what I mean?
Great movie. And if anybody wants to dispute that, you let me know. I mean, it's better than, no boxing movie could fuck with it, really.
My favorite boxing movie.
If you say Southpaw, I'm gonna smack that.
Yeah.
Southpaw. He wasn't even a Southpaw.
I know he was, but they made him fight right-handed.
Yeah, no, it was fucking a dumbass movie. I hate that
Really
movie.
Hope.
Oh,
you know what part I really liked about it?
So fast.
Listen.
The daughter,
Yeah, I know. He became poor.
I would have watched that movie if they paid me and if it was on Channel 9 with the commercials.
You want to know what really got me in that lock? Forrest Whitaker did a great job in that movie. You can't say he didn't. He did.
Forrest Whitaker, I love him, man.
Yeah.
He looks like he's high out of one eye.
Yeah. So Jake Gyllenhaal, even though the script is a script, but he did his best. That part in the movie after his wife dies and he stops boxing and he's got the gun in his hand and he shoves his face into his mattress and screams and his daughter hears him throughout the house. That shit just hit me in my heart.
Yeah, it all happened too quick. It's folklore.
It is folklore, absolutely correct. But I'll tell you what's not folklore.
Yo, our
Irish
guest.
Micky Ward.
Yep, our guest.
Real, live, living human being.
Yeah. Without further ado, the pride of Lowell, Massachusetts, Irish Micky Ward. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, guys. How you doing?
Doing well.
Can't complain. Happy to have you on here. This is great.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Go ahead.
You go ahead first. Because you're excited. I'm excited, but you go first.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on here. Irish Micky Ward, fighting pride of Lowell, Massachusetts. How you been? What have you been up to lately?
I'm with to work at my nephew's gym and help him out, and I also work with it's called Live Train. It's going to be launching pretty soon. It's you can train with me, other fighters we have on the platform. We have wrestling, boxing, and MMA is going to be the first things we're starting out with. It's called Live Train, where you can train with me or any other like a Larry Holmes or Michael Spinks, Jerry Cooney's involved. We got on the wrestling side, we got some gold medalists. We got Dana White gave us a bunch of MMA guys. So that's what it's going to be.
Nice. And that's digital? Like on a,
you can on your mobile app, you can download like Live Train and you can go on and see all the trainers and then you can pick a trainer you want to train with and then you train with them and stuff like that. Yeah. Or you can do interviews or Q&As and stuff like that with your favorite athlete, like live, like you're actually talking physically to them, not pre-recorded or anything like that. So it's gonna be really good.
Nice, man. And how long are the sessions?
You can pick on. I think you can go. I think it's a half hour, 45, and an hour or so, something like that.
That'd be hilarious if Larry Holmes comes in. So I'm only giving you 5 minutes. Make the best of it.
That's Larry. Yeah.
Sitting down on the folded chair. It was like this.
Larry's a good guy. I've been with Larry a lot lately. He's a tremendous guy, and Larry's. For all the fights Larry's had, everything. Larry's very up with it. He's doing good.
Yeah, savvy businessman, Larry Holmes.
Good
he owns
guy.
like all of Easton, Pennsylvania. I think he owns the whole town almost.
The Eastern Assassin. He had a mean jab, man. He shoot that thing out, boy.
He had one of the best. When you're with Larry always throws a jab. He says, "You want some more? You hungry? You hungry? You want some more?" Yeah.
Nice. Yo, Micky, I got to tell you, man, I know I'm not the first one to say this, but you are absolutely one of the most exciting fighters I've ever seen. I mean, every fight that I've watched, I mean, they're not going to be in chronological order, but I remember when you fought Emmanuel Augustus, Zab Judah. I mean, they were just such fun fights. Obviously, Arturo Gatti.
Yeah.
And, you always showed up. You always were like from that fighting cloth of like, I'm not giving up. You had this will, and you were just so much fun to watch. This is something I feel like that represents where you come from. This is not something that was learned. It's not something that you had to turn on. I think it was just you.
Yeah.
Would you agree, or
100%.
was it something?
I think you're I think you're born with it pretty much, or you're not, or you can't teach. You can teach skill. You can teach. You can have for speed and stuff. You can like put weights on your ankles and run faster, whatever it might be. But for your will, your heart, you can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't, and you don't know if you have it until you go through it. And if you go through it and you get through it and you keep doing that, then you have it. But if you give in, or once you quit in your mind, once you say in your mind one time, I can't do it, or I lost, or whatever, you're done. You can't like go the other way, but you can't go back the other way. So even though I was losing or I was getting beat, I always had it back in my mind. I can go. I can keep going. I got to keep going. I got to see if I can break them down mentally to win, and that's what I did.
Yeah, that's never once in any of your fights a thought crossed your mind for you to not come out of the corner or quit, right?
Nah, not at all. Even when I fought Sanchez, when they wanted to stop the fight, like when I was getting killed, for some reason take nothing away from him, I just didn't fight a good fight. And there was a lot of fights like that where I was moving a lot and didn't fight. They were like, "What's wrong with him?" And it wasn't because I wasn't trying to win. It was just I didn't have it that night. For some reason, it wasn't there. And but Sanchez thing, they were saying I'm gonna stop it. I'm like, no, just give me another round. Give me another round. Even though he knocked me down, he had me hurt. I didn't think I was gonna. I didn't think who knew? I didn't know what was gonna happen. I wasn't gonna quit. I wanted to. If I was gonna lose the fight, I was gonna lose standing up. And I would never lose like in a corner. Don't stop the fight in a corner. Let me go out there and get knocked out first. But luckily, I nailed him with that body shot, and that was it.
You folded him up like a chair with that body shot. That was one hell of a body shot. That's one of my favorite body shots to watch.
Yeah, and I enjoy watching you put that combination together most. I mean, I used to touch to the head, right to the body.
Right,
Beautiful.
Just to get that elbow up ahead, and just to dig and just let everything go right into it. And it pulled me out of a lot of fights. Pulled me out of a lot. I was behind a lot, and that punch pulled me out of a lot of losses.
Now, when you were younger, I know you broke your hand one time, but you got hurt. You used to pave, right? You worked on a paving crew?
That was in my butt. That was in my hand. I jumped off the roller, the high roller. I jumped off with a tamp I put down, and I jumped off, and I thought the tamp would fall over. Well, when it stood up, and I jumped off the roller and landed right on top of it, and went right into my, what. But luckily it bounced and went out, but it ripped its way, and they had to reconstruct my bowel movements and all that. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I could have had a colostomy bag for my whole life, or if it went like another inch and another 2 inches, I would have been dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long and how much time did you lose in your career? You were already pro.
I was a year. Right? I think I took off from that 9 months to a year. Yeah, I was a pro. I was a pro from 86, 85, 86, and That happened in like 90, I think, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you lost a year there. So you were a blue collar guy working on a paving crew, and
Yeah.
like your fighting style very blue collar too. And
Yeah.
you took a lot of fights also without much notice too, right?
Not really. I took fights. Mostly I got a lot of training, and I never. That's one thing about me is I always trained hard. I never never didn't train hard. I never took fights like on 2 weeks or a week. I mean, I always knew when I was gonna fight. I just sometimes I didn't know who I was fighting, but I knew I was gonna fight. You know what I mean? So that comes earlier on in your career when you're coming up. You know what I mean? A lot of times you don't know who you're fighting, but you're fighting somebody so you can get ready for how many rounds or whatever.
Which is wild. That's like reminiscent of like the amateurs, right? You
Yeah,
just kind of
basically, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
when
you show up.
when you first turn pro, especially, I mean, if you're an Olympian or you're like this or that, you know who I mean, it's already all set up, you know what I mean? But if you're a guy like me, you got to come up the hard way. You just fight like, what was it like? I think I got like $400, I think, my first fight. Or yeah, something like that. $100 around, yeah.
yeah. You fought like you loved it. You fought with passion. Was there any time during your career where you kind of fell out of it and you were just doing it because you felt the need to do it for your family or for someone else? Because I never saw that. It always looked like you enjoyed fighting. You were a dog in there, and it was just like wow. I was
Yeah.
wowed by your battles. Was there ever like a dip where you were like, I don't really
Yeah.
want to do this, but you felt like you had to?
Yeah, well, no, I had to, but it was like, yeah. What happened was when I lost, I think I lost my first fight, and I lost a couple more, and I lost to like a Tony Martin. I backed in Atlantic City. Then I fought to like Ricky Myers, those guys, and I lost 4 or 5 back to back to back to back. And I was fighting. I wanted to win, but it just wasn't for the right reasons for me. You know what I mean? I trained hard. I did whatever, but when I got in the ring, it seemed like it was like really nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't have that like fire to like really win. I just went into like, I don't know, I want to say survive, but it was kind of like that. You know what I mean? And I take nothing away from knowing I lost or fought or like that, but a lot of the fights I just wasn't there mentally, and for some reason, but I was there physically in shape, but I just wasn't there mentally, so it wasn't good for me. It wasn't right.
So sort of like you were going through the motions, but you
Right,
weren't
right.
like inspired, really.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
When do you think that fire lit back up?
It lit back up when I came back, and when I fight was it when I Sanchez, after I beat Sanchez, everything pretty much went right up after that. No, I fought Zab. I lost a decision to Zab, a 12-round decision to Zab for the USBA title. But that didn't really get me down, because I fought at that time I thought he was one of the best fighters at the weight back then. You know what I mean? So that didn't get me down. It made me realize that I belonged there and I could fight with those guys or whatever. You know what I mean? So it gave me confidence, actually, instead of me not having confidence from after that loss.
I mean, you were facing a young Zab who was
Yeah.
mean, fast, a
Yeah.
southpaw, knew
Yeah.
how to rip to the body. I mean, he had good feet.
Everything.
And I'm not sure if you've heard it, but just recently he said you were his hardest fight.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Yeah, me and Zab,
And
we're friends, you know?
he's pretty straight up and clear. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's not doing that for any other reason but the fact that it's the truth.
No, right. Yeah. He was telling me, like, I've been with Zab a few times, and he said when I hit him with that body shot, I told my dad, come on, dad, F that body shot. Just keep going. He goes, no, it's me. His dad was saying F it, but he goes, I'm the one getting hit with it. Yeah, he's pretty cool, though, yeah, it was a good fight. It was tough. That's when he was like Zab, the Zab that like he had pop too, because he'd bop, 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 and he'd move. Bop, bop, and he never stood there, you know what I mean? Long enough to get hit.
Right.
Yeah.
What made you get into boxing when you were young?
Dickie, my brother, fought before me, so my first fight I was 7. I I went down to gym and with him at 7 years old and never stopped. I mean, I didn't fight like constantly from 7. I fought a little bit, go back into the gym, train around a little bit. I didn't fight consistently till like I was like 13, maybe 14. Yeah.
And Dickie trained you when you were younger, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Dickie was one hell of a fighter too.
Yeah, he's an excellent boxer. Yeah.
I didn't know much about him until I watched the movie The Fighter, which is one of my favorite.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, favorite boxing movies.
Yeah.
Partly, I love. There's a couple of reasons why I say that. The fact that it highlighted your life at a young age and the relationships with your lady and your family. I enjoy like those behind the scenes,
Right.
I like to see those behind the scenes family events highlighted and the dynamics between you and your brother. I thought that was really cool. Also, it felt very human that they they shared the fact that Dickie was an addict, but he still had this love for you where he was pushing you and just the love internally. What many may seem as a family that's dysfunctional, but there was a certain beauty that and rich with love, if I may, that was represented, and that's what I got from it. And I also like the fact that they gave you a just due with your career, with your accomplishments. Also, the losses, the failures, all combined into this great movie with great actors. But also, one last thing that I really enjoyed, that they didn't highlight you and Gotti, because I feel like you and Gotti could have overshadowed that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was a clear representation of you, what makes you tick, and who you are. And I think, honestly, man, even though I was a big fan prior to that, it really solidified it for me. So I thought it was a great representation of you. So well done,
Yeah. See, that was the thing about it is, it was a boxing movie, but it was more for it wasn't just for the men, because it had, like you said, the sister, the dynamic with the sisters, my mother, you know what I mean? So the woman can relate to it. Families can relate to it, blah, blah, blah. Everyone always said, I have someone like that in my family, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
And, about the sisters and my mother, how my mother was the way she was, and my father the way he was, so it was people kind of gravitated towards it more because of the family dynamic, more so than the boxing part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're this guy with this life and this family who just happens to be a boxer. That's what it's.
Basically, 100%.
Yep. Yeah.
Looking back at that movie now, is there anything that you would say, I wish they would have shared a little more of this, or something that you feel in your heart that was a little inaccurate that you care to share?
No, I mean, it was all pretty much good on. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, everything ain't exactly the same. Like Mark had told me, Wahlberg told me, Mickey, he goes, it's hard to put one person's life in the 2.5 hours, let alone two people. And then you got two, especially Dickie with his crazy, his crazy stuff, to put that all in and whatever. So they have to put things in, take things out. So they have to moving things around, and times are off a little bit, dates and names or whatever. But it was pretty much right on, like I said, though, they can't make it perfectly like it was,
Yeah, they always got to make changes. They always got to. I read your book, Irish Thunder.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
I
had a couple of them out. The first one, the guy wrote it, Bob Allen, was a good book. But I wrote the second one. I pretty much had everything to do with the second one.
Is the second one Irish Thunder?
I don't think that was the first one.
That's the first one?
The second one was The Life and Times of Irish Micky Ward, I think it was, something like that.
Wow, I didn't know you were an author, too.
No, I ain't. Not. I helped write it.
How's Dickie doing nowadays? Is he doing good?
Oh, yeah. He's still kicking. He's doing all right. He's hanging in there.
Yeah, I empathize a lot with his part, and in the movie, because I had an issue with drugs. I've been incarcerated before, I was really close to my brother also. So
right,
it was How'd you feel about them having Mark Wahlberg play though? Not the best looking guy, right?
Yeah. It was good. Mark's a Boston guy, so the accents are the same, and Mark's an athlete. Mark's a good fighter, man. He can if he can punch, Mark, I used to spar with him, and he can punch. Mark can punch, he's a lot bigger than me too. And height wise, he's I'm 5'8", he's 5'9.5" or so. But weight wise, he's a lot bigger, and he's obviously strong, like big guy, but so I was glad that he played me, and I'm glad he had boxing background, so and he didn't like when he sparred the guys he fought and stuff. He was like going at them. He wasn't taking it easy. Mark's crazy.
Yeah, I see it.
Mark's always always wants to get one on you. If you did this, he wants to do that better than you.
Yeah, every morning he's on Instagram at 5 o'clock working out.
Enough of this shit, Mark. I'm not waking up at 3 a.m., all right?
I'm telling you, he is amazing with the workouts he does. He's crazy.
He's like another David Goggins.
Yeah.
But the Boston version.
Yeah, man, he's crazy. He's...
Wait, before you say, what's that other? Well, he used to play AC Slater and Saved by the Bell.
Oh, Mario Lopez.
Mario.
Yes, I like, I enjoy watching actors move, but most of the time when you see them move like box, you're like, oh, no wonder they're actors. Like, Jesus Christ, that's awful.
Yeah.
But Mark Wahlberg, Mario Lopez, they can put some punch together. They look good. Like you watch them, you'll finish the clip of them hitting the mitts or something. Who wins?
Mario
Lopez or Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg. I go with Mark Wahlberg because I just feel like he's he's just a meaner guy and he'll go for the knockout.
Yeah, I think Mark wins that one.
I go for Mark
But I'll
Wahlberg.
tell you though, Mario, he might like to have a soft spoken and this and that, but he has a lot of fight in him. Believe me.
Really?
So you're going for AC Slater?
No, I'm not saying I'm going for him, but I'm saying you can't count nobody, especially him. You can't count nobody out.
So after you knock out Sanchez, and then you go to England, you beat Neary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You fight like a great fight against him, and then you get into you have this trilogy with Gatti. Even how did you feel going into the first fight with Gatti? Were you like, this is a culmination of all the hard work I've done, through my career, through boxing, and I'm finally starting to get a piece now. Did you feel like that at all? Was that?
Yeah, I basically did. But what's funny is people leave out a fight that I fought that I almost got fight of the year too. Reggie Green from DC. That kick a punch. He knocked me. He hit me with a left hook. I thought I was out on a Route 95. That was like behind where the fight was. I didn't know where the hell I was in the third round. He cut me right here, right, with a left hook, and I got 15 stitches or 10 stitches in and like 15 out, 25 in my lip.
Damn.
And then I had 8 over here on my cheek. And I knocked him out in the 10th round, like 20 seconds left. But I was losing, so another thing. Yeah.
And that was the fight right before Arturo?
That was a fight. I fought him, and then I fought Jesse James Lehar, and they how I hit him with a left hook, and they said I headbutted him, and so he was ahead by two judges, and I was ahead by one, so they gave him the fight technical or whatever it was, technical draw.
Decision, yeah.
Yeah. And then I fought Gatti, so I think Gatti was they gave me Gatti because how I got, I think, screwed in that one. So like Lou DiBella and him, like they promised me to get me whatever, and he got me Gatti, and obviously Lou thought I was gonna win or whatever, but he really had his doubts. But everyone else thought I was gonna lose, and they gave me Gatti, thinking Gatti was gonna walk right through me, but I guess I had something different.
Yeah, three fights, 30 rounds.
Yeah,
I get goosebumps just thinking about that fight. I was at home and I was kind of like half listening. I didn't even know the fight was on that night. It was kind of playing in the background. Yeah. And man, at the end of me and my friend were just like glued to the screen, and we were like standing up screaming. It was just such great back and forth action. I didn't come up with this phrase, but it was absolutely beautiful brutality. And thank you for that, man, for putting on a fucking show. That shit was awesome, man. And then you gave it to us 2 more times.
Yeah.
And to see you here and to hear you, you're articulate. You got your bearings. Like, you sound great, man. You look great, man. Props to you, man.
Thanks, man.
And thank you.
Thanks. Well, I got diagnosed with the CTE thing there, but they don't know how. I'm actually donating my brain to so they can study the effects of concussion. So I'm doing good though. I stay healthy. I don't really drink at all, and so I'm good. You know what I mean? Whereas if I was drinking a lot and partying, I'd be like, ugh, you know what I mean? It'd probably be worse for me, whatever. But I stay healthy. I stay pretty good. So I think that's why my mind is still pretty good.
And where'd you get that discipline and the way of life from? Because it's so easy to slip into those cracks and indulge in temptation and, you know, and convince yourself, oh, yeah, I deserve this or I want to do this. There's something in you that kind of, that shows that you're, you know, you're very positive that way. Every time I see you in an interview, you got this upbeat spirit and you're sharing. Like the fact that you're, even with dabbling in these innovative ways of doing the digital training, the fact that you're donating your brain, like you're very progressive that way.
Right.
Is this like something new, or you've always been that way?
Nah, it's just how to stay positive. You know, listen, I mean, I've done wrong. I've done things in my life that I wasn't proud of, and things that whatever, some drugs and this and that at different times, but not anything near boxing or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But that's all done. But I've never done that again. And but I ain't no saint, like, you know. But I do everything to try to do it the right way. You know what I mean? I just try to do the best I can and just be the best person I can be, because like, you know, it can change like that. You know what I mean? But I stay positive. I don't drink really at all, hardly ever. Drugs, no. You know, but I've tried them. I tried them a long time ago. I've tried them. Don't get me wrong, but never got. My mind was too strong to say that would take over on me. No way. Yeah, you know, I have that mind that if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to get me. I wouldn't do it enough to where I need it. You know what I mean? So that was it. And I have a strong mind, and I don't mean it for everyone that, you know, that everyone has problems. They can say, "Oh, I don't want to do it," and they don't do it. No, you can't. That doesn't happen. But me personally, I was strong enough, and luckily, where I just said, "I don't want to do this. No, I'm done." And that was it. I never got into it anyways. Big, did it here and there, whatever, and that was it. So I mean, I don't look down on nobody. I could have been there, but I just knew I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah, I've done my share of partying maybe 1 or 2,000 times.
Never again.
But I'm good. I'm good now. This little nose used to be very naughty.
Yeah.
I didn't stop partying until I was 33.
That's the good thing about having the mask now in COVID. You can fucking go out and just, you know, nose in the cocaine jar.
You hear the birds going.
Oh my God.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
They're judging you, those fucking birds.
Everybody's going to work.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's always a beautiful sunny day when you're recovering from that hangover.
Absolutely.
You know, and the funny thing about it is I talk about it, and I'm not proud of it, but I went through it and I got through it, and I'm living like you can do it and get away from it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying people do it and whatever. No, I don't do it no more, not like that. But you don't. People don't. You know, you can get away from it. You know what I mean? You just gotta want it. You just gotta know it's not good for you and get away from it.
The town that you're from got hit hard during the crack epidemic. How is it in Lowell now? Is it getting better? Or?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, like you know, it depicted it as like really bad, but it's not bad at all. You know, it was like at one time it was bad, you know, and but it's come full circle.
Nice.
I want to go back to the Arturo Gatti and the trilogy between you and Arturo Gatti. So after the first fight, how excited were you to do that second fight? And I believe it was within 6 months. Am I correct?
Yeah.
It was a short time. Were you like fully healed?
Yeah, all 3 of those fights happened within a year. It was about a year,
13 months,
Holy
I think, 3
shit.
fights. Yeah. People don't usually have a fight like that their whole life, or they might 3 back to back to back. But
right.
I was good for it. I mean, I was sore after the first one, don't get me wrong, but I was ready. Like a few months after, I was ready to go again, and we fought 6 months after, or 5, whatever it was, and you know, I wanted to give him the rematch because he deserved it, you know, because of the fight. First fight was so good, and we figured, you know, I could have fought for whatever, but I wouldn't have got more money or anything like that, more money to fight those people than I would to fight Arturo again. So the second one, I got the biggest payday of my career, you know what I mean? So I had to go for it, you know. I wanted to. He deserved it.
You fought one of those fights with a ruptured eardrum, I believe, didn't you?
No, the second one, I was fine. When I got hit in the third round with that right hand, it partially ruptured my eardrum, and because he caught me right here in the ear. And when I went into the corner, I was out of it. I didn't know where the hell I was, and and stupid me, I'm like, he's hit me, and then I bang my chest like this, like I being just trying to show him that I wasn't hurt, which I was gone, right? I'm like, come on. He goes, line me up. Boom, that right hand nailed me, and that woke me up. That like I was still dazed, but I knew where I was. It's weird. That doctor told me that after that you can get knocked out of consciousness, and knocked back in
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
And luckily, I got knocked back in instead of getting knocked out.
That's so fun that you say that, because there's a trainer I know. He also actually fought Arturo Gatti years ago. He's a trainer now. Joey Gamache.
Oh, Joey Gamache. Yeah.
I fought Joey in the amateurs. Me and Joey. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Great dude from Maine.
Yeah, excellent kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And he told me that. He said that, he said that he's seen it many times over. A guy gets knocked out, boom, and in the middle of the knockout, they'll get hit again.
And wake up.
And they'll wake up. I'm like, oh, shit. That's wild.
But my legs were still gone, but my head was not clear, but it was like, I could like function, you know what I mean? Before I got hit with it, before I get hit with that right hand, I was like out of it. I was like, whoa. Felt like I was on the worst roller coaster you ever been on.
Did you know that the last fight with Arturo was going to be your last fight? Did you already? Yeah.
I said it beforehand. I said I'm going to train my hardest. I'm going to fight my hardest. Win, lose, or draw. Even if I won, I was done. I didn't care if I won and they offered me $5 million or, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to fight no more.
So was your camp pretty much the same for each fight?
100%.
Who was some of the sparring partners you had?
I had a couple of kids from guys. We flew a couple of kids in from New York. I can't think of their names. A couple of good fighters. One was from New York and one was from I think Connecticut or somewhere. I'm not sure. But they were good sparring. I had great sparring. I sparred hard. I trained hard as I could. My main thing was my running. I used to love to run, so I always got in the best running shape ever. And I sparred hard. I trained my ass off. So I really trained, did everything the right way, and that's why I look back now and people say, "Do you miss it?" No, I don't miss it because I gave it all I had. I trained as hard as I could, fought as hard as I could. Now, if I didn't do that when I was fighting, right, then now look at my age, right? I'd be like, "Oh, I'm more smarter now. I can do it now because I didn't do it the first time." No, that's not true. You can't do it. You know what I mean? People think that. Oh, maybe now I can do it because I can do the right things. Bullshit. Once you get in your 30s and 40s, you're done. There's only one there's only one what's his name? One Floyd Mayweather. There's only one of him. There's only one
B-Hop. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins, George Foreman.
Only one of him. And the heavyweight
Foreman.
And, George Foreman.
Yeah.
And there's only one Foreman, People don't come back in their 40s like that. Come on.
And you look at George Foreman, like he never drank, smoked, or did anything like that in his life. So it's like you figure it's probably a little better. And same thing with Bernard Hopkins.
Right, yeah.
Floyd too. Just physical specimens.
I mean, and he trained he had the natural ability. Floyd, and on top of that, he trained his butt off. You know what I mean? And that's what made him how he is what he is, you know what I mean? Because the best of all time, pretty much the greatest of our generation, anyways.
I agree 100%. 100%, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think all he ever did was box. I don't think he ever did anything else.
Right, probably not.
Yeah, I think he just boxed his whole life. So you never thought about coming back after you retired?
Which I love.
Nope.
I like when the decision is made and, your ideas are moving forward and stuff. That excites me. I like to see that.
Yeah, no
How
way.
do you feel about boxing right now? What do you think? What's the state of boxing to you?
I think it's good. I mean, it's good. There's a lot of good fights coming on that happen, you know what I mean? With the, what's his name? Lomachenko, I'd like to watch him. I mean, obviously, with that fight with George Gambosis now, tough kid, you know what I mean? Good fighter, a great fighter. Some great fights in that weight class, lower weight class, and then there's some great fights at super middle. Middle. There's good fights, and they're starting to fight each other now. Whereas years ago, there'd be so much money involved that if you get the same amount of money to fight the 10th best guy as the number 2 guy. So why go with number 2? Might as well go with 10 to make that money and fight again, make more. But the guys are fighting each other now, and they're making good money. But they just, they put on good fights. They deserve it.
I feel like you're right. Like the champions, I feel like a lot of them like have this. They want to unify now, and it kind of reminds me back to the days like the '80s. Like Leonard fought Duran, Hagler fought. They all fought each other.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys are legend. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Leonard was probably one of the best welterweights. Well, obviously Sugar Ray Robinson is probably one of the greatest fighters ever. But Ray Leonard back in the '80s, he was. I mean, early '80s, he was unbeatable. And he was fast, strong. You know what I mean? Those guys are incredible back there. Then they were all, like you said, they had all four. They had Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and Duran. That was probably the best four middleweights at that time, without a doubt.
Yeah, four of the greatest fighters ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the guys outside of that, like Azuma Nelson was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Remember him? He was dope.
And Barry McGuigan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, he beat. I think he beat Esbio Pedrosa.
Esbio Pedrosa, yeah. Didn't he beat Stevie Cruz or something? Stevie Cruz beat him, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to.
McGuigan, I think. Didn't he beat him outside in the heat or something?
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah,
it was real hot out. Yeah. But the guy that McGueen beat, it was when he beat Pedrosa. Pedrosa had I think he had 20 defenses. He was champion for years.
Yeah, he was.
For years.
Sabio Pedrosa, whatever. Yeah.
Sabio Pedrosa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's old. That's old school. That's going back. That's going way back into the 70s. So. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you remember your fight with Emmanuel Augustus? Do you remember that fight?
Oh, yeah. That was one of my best fights.
Oh, man. That was such a fun fight.
That one fight of the year. Didn't that one fight of the year?
Yeah, 2001, yeah.
And that must be super awkward fighting a guy like that. What a great matchup between two polar opposite.
He was the most awkward guy. You couldn't hardly hit that guy. He was like, I'm telling you, he could fight. I mean, for the loss of his record, right? He was probably the best fighter in the history of boxing that had that many losses or whatever, and he was that good. He was.
Was
good.
he the same outside of the ring? If you ever had any dealings with him, like during interviews or anything like that?
Yeah, I met him after. He's a great kid, I met him after. I've talked to him after, and I was with him a few times here and there. But yeah, he could fight. He just had that. He had a natural ability to move out of the way, and he had that crazy that herky jerky clown around. You couldn't catch him, and he'd be here, over there, over there, over there. Punch him over there. Crazy style he had, The drunken master, I guess they call him.
The drunken master, yep. That's
so with a style like that, you're not even looking for the head anymore. You're trying to punch him in his arms, his chest,
anything
anywhere.
I could.
Yeah.
Anything I
punch
could.
Punch him in his ass.
Yeah, if he turned around, I would have.
I heard he passed away, I heard.
No.
Did he?
He didn't
know.
He got shot.
He got shot.
He got shot in the head. But he survived. And,
he's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah,
really?
I've seen him once after that. I think he's paralyzed his face a little bit, but he's doing okay. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Thank God. I like him. He's a really good guy.
And I'm sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth with this. The relationship between you and Gatti, were you guys friends prior to that fight? Did you guys know each other?
No, we knew each other. Obviously, I knew him. No, not at all.
Wow, and then you guys became close after that trilogy.
After the first fight, we shook hands, blah blah blah. You congratulate him on a good fight and da da da. And as the fights went on, we got a little more not friends at all, but acquaintances, if you want to call it that. But then after the third one, we become tight.
Well, Micky, I got to say, man, you've been an amazing interview, and I knew you would be because every time I watch previous interviews, I saw you on Hot Boxing and a number of other things. You are so generous, so personable, and, Derek and I really appreciate your time, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, man.
An honor to meet you and talk to you. Thank you so much, Micky.
Now that we've got it fixed.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your patience with that, man.
It took a little
Micky Ward,
exactly.
everybody.
Yeah. And happy holidays to you and your family, Mick.
Have a good Christmas, guys.
And there you have it, folks. Micky Ward. That was excellent, man.
I don't want to fanboy out, but I can't believe we're talking to some of these people, and what an honor to talk to one of the toughest. And I don't care what anybody says. That's a fighter's fighter right there.
Oh, for sure.
That's a fan's fighter right there. That is, he left it all in the ring, man.
You know what's very interesting to me? The contrast between the warrior in the ring and the nice guy outside of it. I mean, he really does.
He said it. He said it best himself. He goes, "I just want to, do my best and be the best person I can be." Like, what? That's just what class.
Yeah.
And simplicity too, man.
Yeah, simplicity.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I mean, he's. I hope that guys like this understand and know how much they inspire guys who are not, just a dude like me who's a stand-up comic, who, wants to be a great father. Like, what he does in the ring, it just inspires me in different areas of my life to not give up, to, that you can always come back.
Right.
There's always a fight. And you can still be a nice guy.
Yeah.
Even though you're going hard
Even though you're an animal.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I get from his character. That's what I get from his performance in the ring.
I mean, everybody should find the YouTube clip of his round 8 versus Arturo Gatti, their first fight. If you don't feel inspired after that, you probably have some kind of severe mental illness, I would imagine. You know what I mean? But even like, it was just great. It was great to hear him talk. Not a brash guy at all.
Yeah, he wasn't even cursing.
Because let me tell you something. If I would have knocked out Sanchez like that and be like, yeah, whatever, one shot, you know what I mean? I was just, whatever. I did it when I wanted.
Yeah, he wasn't even cursing. He was like, I effing. Every time I cursed, I felt bad. I was like, oh, Jesus, have some class.
I know, he's Irish Catholic. He's probably got crosses hanging up all over the place in the house. You know what I mean? Well, what a gentleman. Yeah. What a, but it just... I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to fanboy out, but I fucking love this shit.
Derek is clapping his feet under the table like this. Like a seal.
Like a kid.
Well, there you have it, man. My man Derek Dresser. I'm Sergio Chacon, POP. We out here. We're having a great time. I hope you guys are enjoying the pod. And to the next one, we out. Peace.
Happy Kwanzaa.